NASCAR prospects. Occasionally, one is worth the hype, like a Ty Gibbs or Joey Lagano. But sometimes these prospects are just that, prospects. Under the burden of expectations, they flame out in a blaze of, well, anything but glory. So in this video, we're going to cover some of the most highly touted prospects in NASCAR history who ended up being complete duds for one reason or another. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you guys about an exclusive offer from the Daily Downforce. Groovy Hollow is back for another spooky year of iRacing action, and none other than Eric Estep will be competing in the race. And to celebrate, you can get your own 1/64 scale diecast of Eric's Halloween machine. And this is not a pre-order. This car has already been produced and will be shipped to you as soon as you order it, so don't wait, supplies are limited. Click the link down below to get yours today. I'm sure one driver who immediately came to mind for many older race fans watching was Casey Atwood. If you watched NASCAR in the early 2000s, you may remember Atwood being touted by the media as the next Jeff Gordon. In 1999, he broke a Busch Series record as the youngest winner in series history at 18 years and 313 days old. A record that stood for nearly a decade before sliced bread came along. His early success in the Busch Series ended up landing him a ride with new team owner Ray Evernham, who had partnered with Dodge, making their much anticipated return to the sport. Driving for Jeff Gordon's legendary crew chief and having the backing of an entire manufacturer almost entirely behind him, those expectations were deservedly high. But unfortunately, the newly formed Evernham team didn't hit the ground running as many had expected, and the Winston Cup Series proved to be a huge hurdle for the then 20-year-old Atwood. During his rookie season in 2001, he didn't post his first top 10 finish until race 23 at Michigan. But following a late season crew chief swap, Atwood suddenly began to put together consistent runs. He won the pole at Phoenix and led an impressive 71 laps before finishing 14th. He then finished 3rd at Homestead and capped the season off with 5 consecutive top 20 finishes, which is anything but bad for a rookie in NASCAR's most competitive era. But after Atwood's sluggish start to the season, Evernham had already decided to replace him in the 19 car with Jeremy Mayfield in 2002, moving Atwood to a 3rd car that they put together with joint ownership from Ultra Motorsports. So basically, half Evernham car, half back marker. And as expected, 2002 was nowhere close to an improvement, as Atwood finished a dismal 35th in points. And just like that, after 2 seasons, Atwood's full-time Cup Series career was over. They stuck a fork in their top prospect at the age of 22. Most drivers don't even get to the Cup Series at age 22. People called him the next Jeff Gordon, but failed to remember that Jeff Gordon also didn't win a race in his rookie season, despite driving for a much better team. To put it mildly, Ray Evernham and his associates grossly mishandled Atwood's development. He was catapulted from Busch to Cup faster than most kids settle on their college major, and after one completely average rookie season, he was halfway dropped from the team. One driver whose story almost mirrors Casey Atwood would be Joey Lagano. As mentioned earlier, Lagano was the one to break Atwood's youngest Xfinity Series winner record in 2008. But long before that, people knew his name, as Lagano tore up every single series he had entered since birth. He had deservedly earned the nickname Sliced Bread. But like Atwood, Lagano was also moved up to the Cup Series entirely too quickly at age 19. For 4 full seasons, he floundered in Gibbs equipment, and for a little while, it looked like sliced bread was turning into burnt toast. With Joe Gibbs ready to dump him to the curb in 2013, Brad Keselowski convinced Roger Penske to take a chance on the struggling young driver. Lagano would then repay Brad's kindness by offering a draft with him in the 2021 Daytona 500. But yeah, 34 wins and 2 championships later, Lagano proves why you don't give up on young kids if they don't immediately perform. Something Casey Atwood sadly never got the luxury of having. While we're in the Joe Gibbs racing camp, old coach did take a chance on a much less promising driver than Joey Lagano. After Gibbs let champion driver Bobby Labonte go at the end of 2005 due to poor performance, the next driver he let jump into the flagship number 18 car was none other than Christopher Beltram Hernandez Yeley. Wait, why do they call him JJ? Unlike Lagano, JJ Yeley did not have a background in stock car racing, but he was a talented open-wheel driver, something he had in common with his Joe Gibbs teammate and at this point 2-time champion Tony Stewart. So perhaps Coach Gibbs had reason to be optimistic. However, that optimism quickly faded during Yeley's rookie season in 2006, where he scored a measly 3 top 10s and 0 top 5s in Joe Gibbs' premier race car. 2007 was hardly an improvement. While he did finish second in a chaotic fuel mileage race in the Coke 600, he once again only scored 3 top 10s on the year. And only 2 years into this experiment, Joe Gibbs cut his losses and pulled the plug. Luckily for him, I think his next driver of the 18 car more than made up for the time wasted on JJ. Also, I've been wanting to mention this for like months now, but I know I'm never gonna make a full video on Justin Haley, so fun fact, did you know that Justin Haley actually went by JJ Haley until he got to NASCAR, and then he changed to Justin Haley because he didn't want to be confused for JJ Yeley? I mean, I wouldn't want to be either. Also, his wife's name is Haley Haley. There might be something wrong with these people. But anyway, to end off on JJ real quick, I don't think there's a moral to this one like Casey Atwood or Joey Lagano. JJ Yeley was just a huge risk that didn't pay off. And somehow, he's still racing almost 20 years later, which might be the most impressive part of this entire saga. But what about a future Cup prospect who never even made it to the Cup Series? If you watch the lower divisions of NASCAR in the early 2010s, you couldn't avoid the name Dylan Quesneski. In only a handful of seasons, he became the only driver to ever win the championships in the K&N East and West Series. At 17 years old, he was also the youngest champion ever in both series. In 2013, he was named to the roster of NASCAR Next, a program that highlights upcoming future stars. The program included drivers like Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez, and Jeb Burton. Okay, this program wasn't 100% accurate, unfortunately. But of all the drivers included, Quesneski had by far the shortest NASCAR career. Quesneski only drove a single full-time season in Xfinity in 2014 for Turner Scott Motorsports. Which surprised me, because for all the media attention he got, I thought he was around for way longer than that. What's even more surprising is that he was teammates with Kyle Larson, who was talked about not nearly as much. But unfortunately, Turner Scott was a team on very unstable grounds. After being one of the most successful truck and Xfinity teams in the early 2010s, financial disputes among the two owners plunged the team into the ground midway through 2014. Amidst this uncertain turmoil, Quesneski's primary sponsor, Rockstar Energy, bailed. He scrounged together enough funding to make limited starts in 2015, but after that, Dylan would never return to NASCAR, prematurely ending one of the most hyped campaigns of any young 2010s driver. For the last two drivers in this video, I want to go a little outside of the box. Instead of talking about failed prospects, these last two are drivers who made it to the Cup Series and had successful careers, but still fell short of the expectations set for them. And the first one I want to highlight is none other than Kasey Kahne. Now I know what you might be thinking. John from the Daily Downforce, are you stupid? Yes, the answer is yes. Kasey Kahne won 18 races, is one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers, and made the playoffs almost every single year of his career. How is this guy in a video with Dylan Quesneski and JJ Yeley? Well, hold on, I'm getting there. Joining the same team that Casey Atwood did, albeit a few years later when they actually had their stuff together, Kasey Kahne was a phenom right out of the gate. He posted an incredible 13 top 5s in his rookie season and won a wild 6 races in only his third full-time season in 2006. Even when his team fell into disarray in the late 2000s due to money troubles, Kasey was the only one who consistently posted wins and good points finishes. But where Kasey fell short of expectations was his tenure at Hendrick Motorsports. After spending most of his young years at the dying teams of Gillette Evernham and Red Bull Racing, when it was announced that Kane would replace Mark Martin in the legendary 5-car at Hendrick in 2012, people went nuts. It was reasonable to believe that Kasey Kahne could easily become the next Jeff Gordon or Jimmy Johnson. 2012 was a decent enough first year with the team. Kane faced several setbacks early in the season, but hit his stride in the second half, scoring 2 wins and finishing 4th in the final point standings. But instead of this being a building block for the future, it proved to be the beginning of the end. Although he scored 2 more victories in 2013, he finished dead last among all the chase drivers. We didn't know it at the time, but Kasey Kahne would never have another top 10 points finish. In 6 years at Hendrick, he only scored 6 victories, and had points finishes of 4th, 12th, 15th, 18th, 17th, and 15th. Where did all that Kasey Kahne magic go? Well, all we have are theories, but with Kasey Kahne suddenly stepping away from racing in 2018 due to health concerns and heat exhaustion, I can't help but speculate that Kane was likely being plagued by these health issues for most of the 2010s. Kasey Kahne was an incredibly private person though, and preferred to never share personal details with the press or even his team. He made Carl Edwards look like the chatty gossip in the garage. Furthermore, some have pointed out that Kane exhibited concussion-like symptoms in an interview following a hard crash at Loudon in 2013. I'm no doctor, but he certainly looks dazed and confused, and this event does match up with his sudden drop-off in performance around late 2013.
Some contact?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I hit the inside wall. I'm not sure how I got there.
Are you okay? Any chance of getting back out? I know you tried to turn the wheel.
I can't really hear it.
You know the old saying, black cats encounter bad luck when a Casey Kane crosses their path. And as for the last driver, we have one who is still racing today, Erik Jones. Honestly, Erik Jones feels like if you roll the Casey Kane and Joey Logano stories together, but without the good ending. He was a talented young prospect signed to Joe Gibbs Racing, but their pipeline got clogged with too many talented drivers, and with Jones still adjusting to the Cup Series, he was the obvious choice to be replaced by Christopher Bell. And now, he's been sent to the eternally tormented team of Richard Petty/Legacy Motor Club. Jones, I think, is an exceptional driver. You don't win the Southern 500 twice, especially in that equipment, on sheer dumb luck. I still think on talent alone, he's arguably a top 10 driver in the field. But man, has it been a rough turn of events for that Jones boy over the last few years. I don't want to write him off just yet, but time might be running out for him to course correct. But can you think of any other big NASCAR flops? Let me know in the comment section down below. But don't forget to leave a like in this video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more videos just like this one, and check out dailydownforce.com for more awesome NASCAR content.